there, my beautiful little pumpkins, and welcome to this pick a card reading. My name is Chloe Taylor. If you are new, I specialize specifically in bridging spirituality and psychology, as I am a student of psychology, and I am also a clairvoyant. I've studied tarot for many, many years, more than 10, and on this channel, I really like to help connect you with your deeper meaning of self. I believe that tarot is an amazing tool that can help us connect with our own subconscious mind or unconscious mind. And I will channel in messages from, usually I like to say spirit guides for myself, but this can be whatever you decide that your belief system is. This can be your own higher self, your own consciousness, your spirit guides, God, Mother Earth, or Gaia. Whatever it is that your spirituality is, that is the energy that I am working with. And if you're familiar with pick a cards, you can go ahead and head to the timestamps down below. This is pile number 1, this is 2, and this is 3. But if you're unfamiliar, I can give you a little bit of guidance on this. We'll also be doing a group intention candle before we get in, so make sure you check that out. That will be linked in the time cards as well if you just want to get straight into that. But if you're unfamiliar with pick a cards, basically what you want to do is focus your intention. You maybe already knew which pile was for you when you saw the initial, right? Like right when you opened the video, you maybe already were drawn to something. There might be a crystal here that really calls out to you. You can look at the timestamps and see if your lucky numbers are present, or you might be somebody that is clairvoyant yourself and just already knows, or you read auras. There are so many different ways to choose. Sometimes you're also called to multiple card piles, and that is completely okay and completely normal. The two things I want to say before we get into it is, number one, I do not decide your fate, nor do these cards. Basically, this is just a reflection and a confirmation of what your subconscious mind already knows. And so when things resonate with you from the tarot, it's because you already have an intuitive or subconscious inner knowing. And number two, if you hear something you don't like, again, I don't control your fate or your destiny, nor do these cards. That is completely up to you. I am reading off of the current energy. And as you know, we are always able to make changes to our energy. So at any point in time, this can shift for you if you decide that you want it to shift. And I also want to point out that this is a generalized message. So of course, I'm going to be channeling in a lot of things, and for most people, the entire pile will resonate, but for some people, you just need a couple cards here and there, or it's one, it can be a lot, basically, because there are a lot of people that view these normally, so it can be just a lot of energy coming in at once, but I do my best to channel that in a clear and concise way, and let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and start with our candle here. This is our group intention candle, and this just really supercharges whatever it is that we want to bring into our life at this time. So be it a manifestation or something that you really want to call in. This can be a feeling you want to have, a thing you want to have, a place you want to visit, whatever it might be for you. Maybe you just want more peace right now, whatever you feel like your life needs right now, or maybe you're really content and you just want to set the intention for that contentness to continue. It doesn't have to mean that you're lacking something or that you don't have something. And the idea with this is if we all set these intentions together, that just supercharges their ability to be able to reach us. So I'm going to go ahead and set an intention myself. Let's go ahead and take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. I like to put one of my hands on my heart, one on my belly, because we want those deep breaths to expand our belly completely. And this also really helps us to connect these intentions with our heart center as well as our creative center. And if you're putting your hands on 2 of these places, like on your heart and on your stomach, notice how supported that makes you feel. So you're supporting your intentions as well. So let's go ahead and take those deep breaths together. All right, I'm just going to take my enchanted lighter and we are going to light this candle. And I do dabble in a little bit of a candle flame reading as well, but I would say ultimately the most important thing that we always want to pay attention to with candle flames is how they're burning. And this one is extremely strong. I feel like we have a real strong community here. I know that the Co's Coven would come through. We have a really strong community here with strong intentions because the flame is burning upright, and I would say that it's pretty still. You can see that in the video as well. Sometimes if the flame wiggles, that can also be like a spirit guide or somebody coming through to say, hey, what up? But oftentimes, especially with intention candles, that's what we want to see is a consistent, steady, straight burn. So love that. Looks like it's going well. We're going to go ahead and put this up here, and I'm going to give you some time now and just let you sit with the cards with a little bit of music, just for about a minute or so if you still need to make a selection, and then head to the description for the timestamp. So pile number 1 is going to be with the clear quartz. Pile number 2 is an amethyst, and pile number 3 is a smoky quartz. So you can go ahead and make your selection, and I'm going to quiet up and give you some time. All right, so pile number 1, if you chose this pile, you would have chosen the clear quartz crystal. And clear quartz is a great crystal if you're not into crystals or this is like a first one, because clear quartz actually can stand in for any other crystal. It also has the ability to cleanse other crystals. So I love this crystal. It's one that I've been carrying around a lot lately. But let's go ahead and see what message the universe has for you. So we're going to start with just some tarot cards first, and then we'll get into your oracle cards. So right away, we have the shadow work card. And I feel like if any of you chose this pile, you already know what this is without me even needing to say it, which I will talk about it. But we also have for you the moon, and we also have for you the 6 of Wands. So I feel like many of you have been feeling very exposed because the 6 of Wands is usually a card of great recognition. It is a card that comes to us to tell us that our achievements are being recognized, but either that or I feel like many of you are wanting some kind of recognition that you have yet to receive, and that's really upsetting. Like you have worked really hard for something, be it a promotion or even someone to notice you, or maybe you've just been putting down a lot of work and you're like, hey, why is this not working? I'm doing everything quote unquote correctly. I'm meditating. I'm putting in the work daily. I'm studying my craft. I'm doing everything that I feel like I know how to do with what's within my power. And I'm not really getting the recognition I'm looking for. Either that or you have gotten the recognition and that actually makes you a little bit more nervous because maybe you weren't quite prepared for it. And the reason that I say that is because when we have shadow work and the moon coming up beside this, shadow work, I mean, if you've ever heard that term, shadow work is basically us getting in touch with our unconscious, getting in touch with the old patterning or old paradigms that we have lived in for possibly our entire lives. And we usually gain a lot of these belief systems and things from our family members or caregivers, mentors, school systems. There's, if you think about it this way, you come into this world with a blank slate. You come into this world with literally nothing. And it is the people and experiences around you that will shape who you will become. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't have your own mind and you don't get to have your own thoughts about how you're going to live. But the shadow work often is digging up those beliefs about us that we don't actually really believe. And it can be very detrimental sometimes. It can be really intense, especially when we have the moon. Because this is stuff that is really hidden from us. And it's not hidden necessarily on purpose. It's things that maybe we haven't even really become conscious of yet. And it doesn't mean that you won't. In fact, I would say if you chose pile number 1 and this is like totally resonating with you, it's a key indication that you will become conscious of these things. And shadow work is not always the easiest work that we will do. In fact, I would say from my own personal experience that it's often not very easy. It can be really hard and really excruciating, but it is some of the best and most fulfilling work that we will ever do because it allows us to look at where we've come from, look at these beliefs that we have about ourselves, about our world, and ask ourselves, do I even like this? Does this serve the person I want to become? Or is this something that I can start to work to reshape into something that I would actually like to experience or believe? And so I feel like for many of you, that's kind of the inner truth that you're coming to. Now, I do believe that is kind of maybe what has been hindering you. If you don't feel like you've received any kind of recognition that you've been looking for, this is what has been holding you back, is there is some undercover stuff that is maybe you feel like you don't deserve it for some reason, or there's something underneath. If I could give you a personal example, even from my own life, this is something I like to do just to help you understand a little bit more. Recently, and I've told this story even on my own channel, I feel like I've healed so much of my internal money wounds, my belief systems around financial abundance. However, even being where I am now and healing as much as I have over the last several years, going through my own spiritual awakening, I do feel that things still crop up. And I was in the middle of meditation and all of a sudden I heard my mother's voice come in and say, "Oh, I want, I want, I want." And that was something that was just always said to me. And this gets into inner child work as well. But that was something that was always said to me whenever I expressed a desire. And I don't blame my mother for this. I think that it was something that was also taught to her, that she wasn't allowed to want for things. And having a desire is such a beautiful gift. We're given desire because it allows us to take inspired action on the things that we want in life. And it allows us to create more, to expand more. So desire is actually a really amazing thing that we ourselves need to have. We need desire as humans, I believe. And my point to that is that even now, those things still come up for me. Things that I was like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? Like, I totally forgot about that. So shadow work is also an ongoing process. Even when you think you've healed from everything, you're always going to be expanding to that next level of self. And so I feel like for many of you, that's really where it is. You need to get more into the unconscious, get more into what it is that you actually believe about yourself and uncover the parts of you that just really aren't serving you. And that is where your recognition will come. That is where you will shine as like the brightest beacon of yourself. And let's go ahead and look at your tarot cards. Your oracle cards, excuse me. We have for you, expect powerful change with the new moon eclipse. I love this. I believe if and when you're watching this, we would have just had a new moon in Taurus in tropical astrology. And then we also have don't let your past hold you back with the south node. So this is beautiful. This is like literally you being told that if you go in and start to work on yourself in this way, your whole life's going to change. And this almost to me, don't let your past hold you back with the south node, really just reiterates what I already said, which is getting into your past, getting into where you've come from, getting into those old patterns and thought beliefs and not allowing those things to hold you back. Excuse me. Everybody in their birth chart has a north and south node, and if you can kind of find a way to bridge the gap between them, that is what is, to me, really the point of the north and south node. I know there's a lot of discussion around that and how like the north node is your true north, but you can't go into your north node without paying attention to your south node, because they always oppose each other in the chart. No matter who you are and what your placement is, they always sit opposite each other. And with that, it's really important for you, no matter what it is, to look at where you can learn from the past and use that to project into the future. And that's really what this whole thing is about. This is big change too. When it's powerful change with a new moon, this is like a clean slate. This is you moving into a new chapter of your life. Maybe not even a chapter, like a whole new book. Like if we're in the trilogy, you're getting into the sequel, okay? And the last two cards I have for you are the Void. Let's actually put this up a little bit so we can see it. I have the Void for you, and I also have the Mouse. And this ultimately, to me, pile number one, is the Void is uncomfortable. And this is kind of just the energy telling us that, it can be uncomfortable to do shadow work. The Void is an uncomfortable place to be. It feels like we are just passing through the abyss with nothing to hold on to. And it's okay to exist there for a little bit. You have permission to allow yourself to experience the Void, because within it, it has its own powerful gifts that come out of it as well. And with the Mouse, to me, brings a message that maybe you need to hide away for a little bit, just for a little while, not forever, because that Six of Wands is still very present, which to me is all about strutting your stuff. But with the Mouse coming out, mice can fit into really small spaces. They're very sneaky. And with the Mouse coming out, this to me really tells us that we might need to hide away and not let others see us for a little bit. And it's not forever. It's just taking time out for you, maybe canceling some plans and, saying, I've got plans, and spending time with you, with your own journal, with your own shadow work, with your own mind, with your own body, and allowing yourself time to kind of decompress and really get into it. So pile number one, I hope this helps you out. And please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Links down below if you want any of these decks. I always link the decks that I use down below. And if you want to follow me anywhere, my channel, my social medias, or my Patreon, where I post exclusive content, everything will be linked down below for you. And I hope you have a magical, wonderful rest of your day. Bye. All right, pile number two. If you chose this pile, you would have chosen the Amethyst. And I just need to point out for a moment that I don't know if you can see it. No, you really can't. But the wick on this candle is like not burning. Like the candle is burning, the wax is melting, but the wick is just like this spiral standing straight up. And can't say I've ever seen one of these candles burn like that. So we love that for us. We love our intention standing tall, okay? Anyways, you would have chosen the Amethyst. The Amethyst to me is a channeling stone, or a channeling crystal. This actually helps to connect your third eye and your crown to other realms, other dimensions. It allows you to connect with spirit guides, ancestors, the divine, your angels. That's what I would personally use it for. To me, it is like the psychic stone. So we're going to go ahead and put that up here and see what your cards have in store for you. So we're going to start with your tarot cards, and then we will get into the oracle cards. So for your tarot cards, we have the Tower. And those of you that know tarot, I'm sure, like, chicka what? We have the Knight of Wands, and we have the Ten of Cups. So I feel like with this Tower, something is about to be unseated within you or within your reality, because the Tower usually is something that we have built up in our minds, and it needs to come crumbling down so we can rebuild on a firmer foundation. But I want to really point out and reiterate to you, pile number two, that, or really drive the point home rather, that this is a good thing. I know the Tower can be very chaotic. It can be very sudden. It's not a card that we always like to see, but this I feel like really is for your highest good, because even if we look at this like it's a progression, like we're starting with the Knight of Wands, we go into the Tower, and then we end up in the Ten of Cups. it needs to happen so that your future can be even brighter, like more opportunities can be opened up to you, because the 10 of cups is having like all of your desires met. It is having whatever it is that you desire see its fullest completion, and doing so in a way that really honors your spirit, your soul, and the person that you are and the person that you want to become. So ultimately, whatever this is that needs to be changed. Now, this could be a career change. This could be a relationship change. This could be like the tower can represent a myriad of things in your life. And oh my gosh, do you see our candle popping over there, being a little crazy? Anywho, I feel like ultimately there may have been an idea or even a person. The Knight of Wands can sometimes resemble a person, but it's either an idea or a creative project or a person that we have either entered a relationship with or started working on. And it is that kind of needs to crumble away so we can rebuild differently. Now, if this is a relationship that needs to be let go of, it doesn't mean that A, it's forever. It doesn't mean B, that it's romantic. It does not have to be a romantic connection. It could be a friendship or even a family member. But something about this relationship, maybe you just need to have an argument and then you are able to rebuild it. Because I feel like what I'm really getting for you, pile number 2, even if we look at this, so I don't know how well you can see the detail of these cards with this camera, but we have 2 people in this card depicted standing opposite of each other, being very standoffish. I feel like this is you and a creative endeavor, or you and a job, or you and a person. When we bring the tower in, this is like a lightning bolt moment. Maybe there's some upset, something comes to the surface. Regardless of what is happening, something is coming up to the surface to boil over. And we have these 2 people falling down off of this tower. But then we see them reunited and rejoined with the 10 of Cups. So whatever this is, I don't think it is forever. You might have to have a hard conversation. You might have to also let an idea crumble away so that you can actually start it over in a better way. And many of you might even be like, oh my gosh, I've been building this tower forever. I am not ready. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to take nearly the amount of work that you put into it initially. This to me is something that will happen relatively quickly, because wand energy tends to be a little chaotic and a little fast anyways. And ultimately, the thing I want you to hold on to with this is that this is for your highest good. Whenever we have a 10 of Cups outcome, this is always going to be serving your highest good. So let's go ahead and take a look at your oracle cards. We have for you, you and your loved ones are safe with the new moon in Cancer. So some of you might be Cancer, sun, moon, or rising. And then we also have nothing will come of this situation with the void of course moon. So any of you that get into arguments or anything of that regard, this is not going to be the end all be all. It's not going to ruin you. I feel like it's going to be something really intense and it's going to feel that way. But ultimately, you and your loved ones are safe. So if this is you and a family member, especially when it comes to family, like your family or your family that you have with just you and your partner, something like that, this is not going to destroy you. Because again, we can't have a 10 of Cups like this and have utter destruction. Like it doesn't, like, no. And nothing will come of the situation. This could also be that somebody is trying to like infiltrate what you have, infiltrate your family, infiltrate your relationship or your creative endeavors or your career, or sabotage. And ultimately, what spirit is saying to us, or what the energy is conveying to us, is that nothing is going to come of the situation. Whatever you're worried about, whatever concern you brought into this reading, nothing is going to come of it. It might seem really intense for a period, but it's going to clear up. And then your last 2 cards, we have the Shark, and we also have for you Transmute. So the Shark to me comes with a message of exposure. Sharks they, to me, when they expose themselves, it can be very vicious. And so ultimately, though, the shark is about exposure. And so it brings us this message that whatever this is, it needs to be exposed. We need to shine light on it so that we can overcome it and heal it and move on for something better for us. And with transmute, this literally to me parrots what we've already been talking about. This is you having the strength, the knowledge, the tools, and the ability to transmute whatever this tower moment is in your life into something better for yourself. You already hold that power within you. So this is you really getting to activate that power and allowing yourself to heal from this moment. So whatever it is, pile number 2, I wish you luck on your path. Please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I have links to all the cards down below if you want to get any decks for yourself. Also, all of my links, social media, my Patreon, all of that jazz down below for you. And I hope you have a wonderful, magical rest of your week. Bye. Hey there, pile number 3. If you chose this pile, you chose the smoky quartz. I love this one because it's very imperfect. And I tend to really like crystals like that, but it definitely has a lot of like jagged and roughness to it. It's not super high polished, and I love smoky quartz. It's a really great protection crystal. So we're gonna go ahead and put that right up here and see what the cards have for you. So we're gonna start with a few tarot cards and then we'll get into your oracle cards. So right off the bat, we have the 9 of Swords. We also have for you the 4 of Pentacles and the King of Wands. All right. So my slogan for my community is, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Because this is something that I feel like we all must cultivate, is being our authentic selves. And I feel like for you, pile number 3, with this 9 of Swords being our significator, you are dealing with a very big fear of being yourself and allowing yourself to grow beyond the 4 walls of where you've come from. And I say that because the 4 of Pentacles also can talk about our home, and also how we feel about our finances as well. So there might be a little bit of worry about money right now. And it also makes you feel like you don't have your fullest expression of self, because maybe you can't buy clothes that make you feel like you are in your fullest expression of self, or you can't travel the way you'd like to, or go to school the way you'd like to. There's some kind of a lack of financial abundance that I think is connected to this lack of confidence that I'm seeing. So for you, pile number 3, ultimately, when we see the 9 of Swords, this is something that, did I say 9 of Wands? I meant to say 9 of Swords. I hope I didn't say 9 of Wands, but with the 9 of Swords, this is a card that, I mean, look at this girl. She literally has the moon with her, which can be a very deeply emotional symbol. And all of these swords just pointed directly at her. And I feel like maybe that is the energy that you're currently sitting in. You feel like maybe everyone's watching you, or you're worried about how you're going to come across to other people. Like, you're very in your head. Sword cards are all about our knowledge and intellect and being in our mind. So you're very, very, very in your head and very consciously aware of how you are perceived. And ultimately, I believe what the universe is trying to convey to you is that you don't need all the riches in the world to be your most authentic self. Don't get me wrong. Sure, that financial bump is really going to help, and that will come with time. This isn't a saying that you're not going to have that. It's going to come with a little bit more time, but ultimately you can start making small improvements to express yourself to your fullest right now, because the King of Wands is somebody that owns exactly who they are. And I feel like there's really a divide in your energy going on. There's part of you that wants to be that, and then there's part of you that is really afraid to be it. And ultimately, it is my personal belief that we all came here to have a fullest, to experience the fullest expression of self. And so if we're all here to do that, to have that deeply human experience of expressing everything from whatever it is, from our ability to be ourselves, express ourselves, whether it's creatively, sexually, however it comes out for us. I think in all ways, every which way. That's why you're here, is to follow what lights you up and to do that. But I feel like somewhere along the line, somebody really snuffed out your flame and was like, nope. Or maybe somebody said something, or multiple people said something, and you now have these beliefs about yourself that just frankly aren't the truth. You have such value to this world and to yourself, and you owe it to yourself to be yourself and not try to be like everyone else. That's another thing, is there might be this like, I'm also hearing for you that it might be a good idea to do a little bit of social media detoxing. Like, you're playing the comparison game with other people. And don't get me wrong, social media is so valuable. It connects us to each other in ways that we probably never could have imagined 100 years ago. But it can also be really detrimental to our mental health. And it's really important for you at this time to ask yourself what you like about yourself. What makes you special to you? Instead of waiting for that confirmation or that validation to come from outside of you. And stop comparing yourself to everybody else. You don't need a new Chanel bag or a Gucci belt to make yourself valuable. If anything, I would actually say, bringing a little bit of astrology into this reading, we just went through Capricorn in Saturn for the last 3 years. We've transitioned into Saturn in Aquarius, and Saturn in Capricorn was all about status, wealth, financial gain, social climbing. And I feel like that's really where social media leaned towards. Now with Saturn in Aquarius, Aquarius is the authenticity warrior. Aquarius is the sign that rules technology as well. And I just got the chills when I said that. But I feel like for many of us, this is the lesson we're going to be learning slowly over the next 3 years, is while this transit is happening, because as above, so below, as this transit is happening, we're going to be seeing people turning more towards their authentic selves, and the creators and the people that maybe aren't in alignment with themselves, they're not going to be the people that are going to have as much popularity. So it's like in your best interest, not necessarily from even a business perspective, but just in general, it is in your best interest, regardless of what's going on in the cosmos, but in the cosmos as well, as above, so below. It is in your best interest to be your authentic self unapologetically. So let's go ahead and take a look at the oracle cards that we have for you. We have meditate and contemplate with the new moon in Pisces. So you might be a Pisces sun, moon, or rising. Oh my gosh, you probably are a Pisces or have some kind of major Pisces placement, or if you know anything about astrology, definitely look at your birth charts and see where Pisces falls, because even if you don't have any planets in Pisces, you still have a Pisces placement. The constellation of Pisces didn't fall out of the sky the day that you were born, so it still corresponds to you in some way. So, but we also have balance, spirituality, and practicality with full moon Pisces. So I feel like this is really a call to get more into your spiritual aspect of self, but also not losing your footing in reality in doing so. Because sometimes, I feel like it's a balance. Even when we hear about people saying they're stepping in and out of the matrix and stuff, I feel like it's all a delicate balance regardless, because the human experience is being in the matrix, or a lot of it is being in the matrix. If you want certain parts of society, that's just kind of how it is. But also, to be human is also to step out of that. So I feel like for you, this is making a very delicate balance, and you coming more into your fullest expression of self. It is going to take more meditation. It is going to take more contemplation on your part. And maybe you're feeling the way that you're feeling because you're meant to really push into that versus try to run away from it. And ultimately, I do feel like you will see a fulfillment of this, because the cards always tell a story as well. So we have a new moon going into a full moon. We had the new moon in Pisces during Pisces season, which would have taken place, I believe, in January, February, somewhere in there. I don't remember the exact date of the Pisces new moon, but the Pisces full moon will happen during Virgo season this year. So in August, September time, somewhere in there, because the signs kind of overlap a little bit. But that is like the full culmination of this. This is the like full spectrum of, we can always see from the new moon of one sign until that sign's full moon 6 months later, we can kind of see the culmination of those things, the seeds that we planted during the new moon getting like fully expressed by their full moon. So I do feel like that might be significant for you. If you're someone that did something really important with the Pisces new moon, you will see a more of a full culmination during Virgo season for yourself. Because Virgo is the opposing of Pisces, and we always have that full moon in there. So ultimately, that to me, I think, is your way forward, is really trying to balance that, to add more spirituality and practicality, depending on which one you tend to be more in. To me, this is really a beautiful dance between, honestly, a lot of what I do here, which is like science and spirituality, or logic and spirituality, or psychology and spirituality. It's really making that delicate balance between the two of them for yourself. So we also have for you the card Firefly, and we also have for you Nature. So for you, pile number 3, Firefly is having a great, fabulous, fantastic idea. Firefly, the message the Firefly brings to us is that it's an energy we can't hold. We're never going to be able, and maybe this is what you're struggling with, pile number 3. I feel like that actually really could be it. The energy of feeling like you're on top of the world, everything's making sense. You are fully in like your flow of work and play, and you're like getting things done, or you've had these like magnetic, amazing ideas and you're pushing forward. Every single stage of your life has different seasons, and you cannot stay in the Firefly's energy, because if you did, you would burn out. We want to reserve that at certain points. So the Firefly also comes to tell you, like, you might be feeling really down because you're not able to accomplish as much right now. Or maybe that energy that you had, it's dwindling down a little bit. And that's okay. Allow the complexity in your life. And with Nature, this is really a call to action for you, pile number 3, to get back into nature. Walk on some your bare feet on some grass if the weather is permitting for you. That's something I will always recommend. Go and get some sun on your skin if the sun is shining. And if it's not, enjoy the rain, enjoy the snow. Now, that doesn't mean like go out there and catch a cold, but pay attention to the elements, get in contact with earth. And even if that's you just getting a new little plant baby or something, you can tell the judgmental people that are judging all of your mini plants, if you have them, that, you know what, Kloee Taylor said that I can get another plant because it is what I need right now. You have permission, okay? But getting in contact with more nature, I think, is going to be very healing for you at this time, and allow you to remember that nature is cyclical and you are also cyclical. You have cycles in your life too, and you're not meant to be on top of the world all the time. So pile number 3, that is what I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Links to all my socials, my channel, my Patreon, everything down below, and links to all the card decks if you're interested in any of them. I do try to always make sure I provide the links for you. And I will speak to you all again soon. Bye.